A quiet morning at Heartland turns into a moment no one was ready for. Amy is alone in the paddock brushing a nervous horse when Nathan suddenly walks toward her. His voice shakes, his face is tight, and you can feel the weight of something big coming. And then, out of nowhere, he asks the question that freezes Amy in place, a question she never expected to hear again. Amy, do you think you'll ever marry again? This single moment changes the whole mood of the episode. It opens old wounds, brings new feelings to the surface, and forces Amy to face a future she has been afraid to imagine. The episode opens with a calm shot of Heartland Ranch. The early sun spreads a warm orange color across the fields. The horses graze quietly, and everything seems peaceful. Amy starts her day like she always does, checking the horses, cleaning the stalls, and preparing for a new training session. The comfort of routine feels safe to her. It's something that keeps her grounded, something that keeps her from thinking too much about her past. But today, even small moments feel loaded with emotion. As Amy walks across the yard, she notices a troubled gelding pacing along the fence. The horse has been restless since it arrived, scared of sudden sounds and unsure of touch. Amy knows this behavior all too well, fear that comes from something deeper. She approaches gently, her voice soft and calm, and the horse slowly begins to relax. This scene mirrors Amy more than she realizes. Like the horse, she has learned to keep moving, to stay busy, to avoid the stillness where memories live. Inside the barn, Jack is fixing a piece of old tack. He greets Amy with a small smile, but he can sense the storm she carries inside. Jack has always been the quiet strength of the ranch, the one who can read Amy without needing her to speak. He asks if she slept well, and Amy gives her usual answer. I slept okay. Jack nods, not pushing her. He knows that healing takes time, and Amy still carries the shadow of her past with Ty. Even though years have passed, some wounds never fully close. Outside, the wind picks up a little. Dust swirls in the yard as a truck pulls into the driveway. The sound of the engine is familiar, but Amy still looks up with curiosity. It's Nathan. He steps out with the same polite but slightly nervous look he always has around her. Nathan has been spending more time at Heartland lately, helping with ranch work and horse training. He admires Amy's strength, her patience, her connection with animals. But he also holds something inside, a growing feeling he hasn't had the courage to voice. Nathan walks toward her with a small smile, but Amy can feel something different in the air. His steps are slower, his shoulders tense. He looks as if he is battling a thought in his mind, trying to decide whether to keep it hidden or finally let it out. Amy senses this shift, but tries to keep things light. She asks him if he came to check on the training plan for the new horses, and Nathan nods, but his eyes say something else. As they move toward the paddock, Nathan watches her work. The way she holds the horse's halter, the way she whispers calm words, the way she finds trust even where there is fear. He sees all of it, and it hits him harder than ever that he cares for her. Not just as a horse trainer, not just as a friend. Something deeper has been slowly forming inside him, something he can't ignore anymore. But Amy is unaware. To her, Nathan is simply another good person at the ranch, someone who brings kindness, someone safe. She doesn't see what he feels, and even if she did, she wouldn't be ready to understand it. Not yet. While they talk about the horse's progress, Nathan listens, but he isn't fully paying attention. He keeps glancing at her with a mix of fear and hope. His mind races with questions. Should he say something today? Should he wait? Should he keep it to himself forever? He knows how much Amy has been through. He knows that talking about love, marriage, or anything beyond friendship could hurt her or push her away. But keeping his feelings inside has become too heavy. Amy finishes brushing the horse and steps aside to let it roam freely. She turns back to Nathan with a gentle smile, completely unaware of what's coming. And this is the moment when the episode shifts. Nathan looks right at her, his expression unsure but serious. Something inside him clicks. He decides that if he doesn't ask now, he never will. The air becomes heavy, almost silent. Even the horse stops moving, as if sensing the tension. Amy looks at Nathan, waiting for him to speak. His voice comes out lower than usual, hesitant, fragile. Amy, can I ask you something? She nods, expecting a question about the horse or the ranch, but instead Nathan asks the question she never thought she would hear again. A question tied to memories she tries to protect. A question that hits her like a sudden gust of cold wind. Do you think you'll ever marry again? For a long moment after Nathan speaks, the air around them feels completely still. Amy's eyes stay locked on his, unsure of what she just heard. The world doesn't make a sound. Not the horses, not the wind, not even the distant ranch dogs. It is as if time has paused just to let this one sentence echo through her mind. Marry again. Two simple words, yet heavy enough to shake her entire foundation. Nathan realizes what he has done the second the words leave his mouth. His confidence melts, his shoulders drop, and he instantly looks like a man who wishes he could pull those words back and hide them. His breath catches, and he quickly looks away, almost ashamed. He didn't ask to pressure Amy. He didn't ask because he expected an answer. He asked because the feelings inside him had grown too large to stay quiet, which scares him more than anything. Amy finally exhales, but her voice doesn't come right away. She blinks slowly, trying to gather her thoughts. She wasn't angry. She wasn't upset. She was simply overwhelmed. A question like this pulls her back through time, back to Ty, back to the life she built with him, back to the pain she felt when that life was torn away. Amy doesn't want to revisit those memories right now. She's worked so hard to stay strong, to rebuild herself, to rise again. Yet here she is, suddenly forced to face feelings she thought she could keep tucked away. Nathan senses her silence and tries to soften the moment. He lifts his hand slightly as if wanting to take the question back. I didn't mean to upset you, he says, his voice low and honest. I see how strong you are, how you hold everything together. And sometimes I wonder if you ever think about a future that isn't just work and healing horses. A future where you let someone in again. This makes Amy's heart tighten. She knows Nathan isn't being selfish. He isn't trying to replace anyone. He's speaking from a place of care, kindness, maybe even love. But kindness can hurt too when the heart isn't ready for it. Amy turns away slightly, wiping her palm across her jeans, searching for something steady to hold on to. She wants to answer. She wants to explain. But every sentence she tries to form inside her mind breaks apart before it reaches her lips. Part of her wants to protect Nathan from false hope. Another part of her doesn't want to shut the door on herself, because deep down, she knows life can't stay frozen forever. Instead of answering the question directly, Amy walks a few steps toward the fence. The gelding follows her silently, sensing her distress. She rests her hand on its mane and breathes in the familiar smell of hay and dust. The horse shifts gently, as if offering comfort. Amy whispers to it, not saying words, just letting out the pressure inside her chest. Nathan steps closer but keeps a respectful distance. His voice is gentle. Amy, I'm not asking you to marry me. I'm not even asking you to think about anything like that now. I worry that you carry too much alone, that you don't let yourself imagine a new beginning. Amy keeps her eyes on the horse. A tear forms but doesn't fall. She is not crying from pain, at least not pain alone. She is crying because she knows Nathan is right. She has buried so much inside herself that she doesn't know what she feels anymore. She doesn't know if she is ready to move forward or if she is still trapped in the past. Finally, she speaks, her voice soft and careful. Nathan, I don't know, she says. I don't know what the future looks like for me. I don't know if I'll ever be ready for something like that again. Her voice shakes slightly. It's not that I don't want to. It's that I don't want to make promises I can't keep. Nathan absorbs her words with a slow nod. He understands, maybe better than she expected. I didn't want to push you, he says. I just needed to be honest with you, because pretending I don't feel something, that's getting harder every day. Amy finally turns back toward him. Her expression is soft. No anger, no fear, just honest emotion. Nathan, she says gently, your feelings matter, but so do mine. And right now, I'm still trying to find my way. Nathan steps back slightly and nods again, his eyes lowered but warm. I can wait, he whispers. If waiting is what it takes, I can do that. His words hit Amy in a new way. Not heavy, not painful, but strangely comforting. Someone is willing to wait for her, not because he expects love, but because he respects her. That kind of loyalty is rare, and Amy knows it. A long silence unfolds between them, not cold, not awkward, just real. The kind of silence that comes after truths are finally spoken. Amy looks out over the fields, the sunlight touching the rolling hills, and for the first time in a long while, she doesn't feel stuck between the past and the future. She feels somewhere in the middle, a place where healing can slowly grow. Nathan takes a careful breath, his voice steadies. After Nathan walks away, the ranch feels strangely quiet. The wind moves through the trees, the horses shift in the fields, but Amy doesn't hear any of it. She stands there, her hand resting on the horse's back, staring at nothing. Her heart beats too fast, her thoughts whirl in circles, and the question keeps repeating in her mind like an echo she can't shut off. Will you ever marry again? She whispers the words under her breath, almost testing how they feel. The sound of them sends a shiver up her spine. This wasn't just a simple question. It pulled at the deepest part of her heart, the part she tries hardest to protect. Amy forces herself back to work, but her focus wavers. She moves through the motions, but every movement feels heavy. She tries to push the moment aside, telling herself to stay busy, but it keeps coming back. The look in Nathan's eyes, the honesty in his voice, the way the whole world seemed to pause around them. She can't shake it off. Jack eventually notices something is wrong. He watches her as she brushes down another horse, her movements slower than usual. Jack has lived long enough to recognize when someone is carrying a storm inside them. He walks toward her and places a gentle hand on her shoulder. "You all right?" he asks softly. Amy doesn't answer right away. She swallows, searching for the right words. "I just had a strange conversation," she says, her voice quiet. Jack raises an eyebrow, waiting for her to continue. He doesn't push, but he stands steady beside her, offering the safety she's always found in him. Amy finally says it. "Nathan asked me if I'd ever marry again." Jack's face softens, but there's a flicker of concern in his eyes. He doesn't speak immediately. He just lets the words settle in the air. He knows exactly why this question would shake Amy, and he knows talking too fast won't help. He sighs quietly. "That's a big question," he says. Amy nods, looking down at the horse's mane. "I didn't know what to say," she whispers. "I still don't." Jack rests his hand on the fence, his voice slow and steady. "You don't need to have an answer today, or tomorrow. Healing doesn't follow a schedule." Amy takes a shaky breath. "But what if I never feel ready? What if, people expect me to move on? What if that makes me a bad person?" Jack shakes his head firmly. "No, you love Ty with your whole heart. That doesn't disappear, but life keeps moving, Amy. And sometimes opening yourself to new things doesn't mean letting go of the old. It just means growing." Tears gather in Amy's eyes, but she wipes them quickly. She hates crying in front of Jack, even though he never judges her. "I'm scared," she admits in a voice almost too soft to hear. Jack answers gently, "Being scared means you're human, and whatever you decide, you're not alone." His words comfort her, but they don't erase her confusion. Instead, they make it clear that she has a long road ahead, one filled with choices she never expected to face. Later in the day, Tim arrives at the ranch, loud as usual. He walks into the barn, calling Amy's name, but stops when he sees her expression. She looks lost, fragile in a way he hasn't seen in a long time. Tim's protective instincts flare instantly. "What's going on?" he demands, scanning the area like he's ready to fight someone. Amy shakes her head, trying to avoid the conversation, but Tim is already too alert. "Amy," he says more firmly, "tell me what happened." Reluctantly, she explains the moment with Nathan, the question, the silence, her confusion. As she talks, Tim's jaw tightens. His eyes narrow. He doesn't like the idea of anyone putting pressure on his daughter, even by accident. "He asked that?" Tim snaps. "Does he even understand what you've been through? Does he know what he's asking?" Amy tries to calm him. "Tim, he wasn't being cruel. He just spoke from the heart." Tim huffs angrily. Well, sometimes speaking from the heart means speaking without thinking. He walks across the barn, frustration pouring off him. He should have known better. You're still healing. You don't need someone stirring things up. Amy looks at him with tired eyes. Dad, it's not his fault. And he didn't push me. He just asked. Tim shakes his head again, softer this time. You've been through enough, Amy. I just don't want anyone making life harder for you. Tim's anger slowly shifts into something more emotional. He stops fighting the air and finally looks at her with real concern. I know I can be tough on people, he says quietly, but I just want you to be okay. That's all I've ever wanted. Amy steps toward him and gives a small nod. I know, Dad. Tim pulls her into a rare, gentle hug. It's protective, warm, and a reminder that no matter how complicated life becomes, she has her family behind her. By the end of the day, Amy is drained. She walks out to the fields as the sun sinks behind the hills. She stands alone, watching the sky turn shades of. As evening settles over Heartland, Amy finds herself drawn to the quietest corner of the property, the old round pen. The last sunlight fades to a soft golden glow, and the air grows still, carrying the scent of hay and warm earth. This has always been her thinking place, a space where she can breathe, where she can let her heart unravel without anyone watching. Tonight, the weight on her chest is heavier than ever. She walks slowly inside the round pen, running her hand along the fence. Each crack in the wood reminds her of how much time has passed, how much she has survived, and how much she still hides from herself. The question Nathan asked is like a stone sitting deep inside her, impossible to ignore. Will you ever marry again? She whispers the words again, not because she wants to think about the him, but because she can't escape them. Amy kneels in the dirt and closes her eyes. For a moment, she imagines Ty, his laugh, his touch, the way he used to look at her like she was the center of his world. The memory brings a sharp pain, but also warmth. Losing him broke something inside her, something she never believed could heal. And yet, she's still here. She's still standing. She's still living. That realization alone makes her chest tighten all over again. She hears footsteps on the gravel behind her and turns slightly. It's Jack. Of course it's Jack. He always finds her when she's hurting. He doesn't speak right away. He simply walks over, steps into the pen, and stands beside her. The silence between them is gentle, not heavy. Jack has never needed words to understand her. You don't have to pretend with me, he finally says. Amy looks down, brushing her fingers through the dirt. Her voice cracks. I don't know what to feel, Jack. I don't know if it's wrong to even think about the future. Jack takes a slow breath. Loving Ty was the best part of your life. Nobody can take that away. Not Nathan, not time, not anything. But loving someone once doesn't mean you can never love again. Amy shakes her head. I'm scared that moving on means forgetting him. Jack kneels beside her and puts a hand over hers. You don't heal by forgetting. You heal by carrying the love forward. Ty will always be a part of you. If the day comes when you open your heart again, it won't erase what you had. It will honor it. The words hit deep, and Amy feels tears spill down her cheeks. She doesn't fight them this time. She lets them fall, releasing the tension she's held inside all day. Jack's presence gives her the strength to finally breathe again. After a long while, Amy stands up and wipes her face. She thanks Jack with a small nod, and he leaves her alone, knowing she needs time to process everything. The sky darkens as stars begin to appear, and the ranch lights turn on one by one. Amy wraps her arms around herself and looks up, feeling the night settle around her like a soft blanket. Meanwhile, Nathan is on the other side of the ranch, sitting on the tailgate of his truck. He stares out at the fields, thinking about his question. He feels guilty for upsetting Amy. He hadn't planned to say it. It just slipped out, but it came from a place of truth. He doesn't want to replace Ty. He doesn't expect Amy to love him back. He just wants her to know she deserves happiness, whatever shape that happiness takes. Nathan sighs and rubs his face. He wonders if he crossed a line. He wonders if he should keep his distance or step forward. He's torn between hope and fear, just like Amy is. But even in his confusion, one thing is clear. He cares about her deeply, and he'll respect whatever she decides. The next morning arrives slowly. The sky is pale blue, and a thin mist covers the fields. Amy steps outside early, unable to sleep. She watches the horses graze and tries to make sense of her own heart. She's not ready to love again. Not yet. But she's also not ready to close the door forever. This realization brings a fragile sense of peace. As she stands there, Nathan approaches from a distance, walking carefully as if unsure whether he should come closer. Amy sees him and gives a small nod. It's a simple gesture, but it tells him everything he needs to know. She's not angry. She's not shutting him out. She just needs time. Nathan stops a few feet away. "I'm sorry," he says gently. "I shouldn't have asked that. Not like that." Amy shakes her head. "You were honest, and honesty isn't something I want to punish." Nathan's shoulders relax with relief, but he still keeps his voice soft. "Whatever you need, Amy. Space, time, silence. I can give you that." Amy looks at him with a calmness she hasn't felt until now. "Thank you," she says. "I'm still figuring things out, but I don't want to lose the friendship we have." Nathan smiles, grateful. "You won't." The moment isn't romantic, but it's real. It's gentle. It's the beginning of something. Not a love story yet, but a new chapter in Amy's healing. As the camera pulls away, the